close that. We can close that. We can close that. We can close that. Tab police, allow me. I'm trying, man. I'm trying to pass probation with you lot. Shout out yourself, S. Shout out all of you lot tuned in across YouTube and Twitch. Can't do it without you lot, people. But let's start, man. Let's start with the big one, really and true. Let's start with the reason we're somewhat here. David Ornstein gave his seal of approval for this. And it's something that's been there, but Arsenal in talks over Pedro Neto deal. We were linked with him at Braga, at Lazio, and we might get him now that he's at Wolves. Arsenal's top target for a new winger, if Nicolas Pepe leaves, is Wolverhampton Wanderers Pedro Neto, and they just signed Guedes and that, so maybe that's their replacement. News of Arsenal's interest in Pedro Neto was revealed in David Ornstein's weekly column. Talks are said to have taken place for more than a month, and central to dialogue is the middleman of George Mendes. So he's trying to coordinate that. Busy Mendes is a madman. He's a money man, but it's a good one, you know. He's going to get a payday if Ronaldo gets a move to wherever. I'm sure he's João Felix's agent and Pedro Neto. So yeah, he's doing his thing. Is he not? Is he involved? Was he involved in Fabio Vieira? So maybe he can help us in that regards as well. Talks are said to have taken place for more than a month. So obviously we're trying to see the feasibilities of a deal and the blueprint of what it would look like, and obviously what he would look at in terms of a contract and his willingness to make the move and gauge, you know, how much Wolves would want to do it. And obviously a bit of that relies on Pepe. And as you lot can see, as we already knew, Pepe was left out of the Bournemouth match, and Arteta was very coy on reports of him going. We all know it looks like he's going to join Nice on a dry loan, and you'd imagine by the end of the week, that one there is tied up. As we know, Neto extended his contract in March. He's contracted until 2027, which strengthens Wolves' position, people. Negotiations. So, yeah, it is what it is. Negotiations between Arsenal and Nice over a loan move for Pepe provide the North London club with a potential opportunity to sign a new winger before the transfer market closes. While an addition will only be made if Arsenal can afford it and think it's going to improve their options, a number of candidates have come under serious consideration. Pardon me, after securing Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko, Fabio Vieira, Marquinhos, it's unlikely that Arsenal will be able to spend. Where's my glasses? A lot of money. I can't say that word. And they're conscious of financial fair play limitations. Forget all of that, man. It's unclear what level of finance it might take for Wolves to contemplate letting one of their key men depart. However, discussions are ongoing as Arsenal explore whether a deal could be achievable. To be fair with you, Neto played Spurs. All he's got to do is drive up Seven Sisters Road, and he can get into the borough of Islington, and things go on. I mean, he said, my mum keeps telling me to shoot. She says I don't shoot enough. What's this? So, yeah. Where's this column from David Ornstein? Maybe there's more specifics in that as well. Oh, is this a long one? I mean, he scored at Anfield and at Old Trafford. He's on this thing, man. He's a lit player, man. You know, Premier League goal involvements age 21 years of age or younger. He's propaganda, you know, he's in the right place. We got the Haaland, Demon, Saka and Smith Road there, you know. Unfortunately, you've got Uni Boy, Hudson-Odoi, Ferran Torres, and that. Obviously, this was at the time. What date was this article made? This is February of last year, people. So, at the time. So, he's tying into what we have, people. This is before he obviously got matched. Neto could have played another sport professionally. He was an ice hockey don, and he chose football. I hear that. One thing I take from it, I run very low in football. I am fast rotating, protecting the ball. My back is like 30 years of age. I hear that. He still lives with his parents. They drive him to training. And obviously, him being a Portuguese speaker is lit, man. Obviously, he moved to Serie A as a very young man, so he is quite adaptable and quite somewhat fearless. So it's crazy, man. At the time, he was 5th for Premier League chances created, and at the time, he's with Kevin De Bruyne, Mount, Grealish, and Bruno Fernandes. And he seems humble. At the time, he said, it's good to have my name around the best players in the league. It's about the team too. The team is helping me a lot. I hope that I can be the first, though. I saw this the other day, and Grealish has created like 75 chances. So he can create, he can score. Ultimately, he can get better. And he said, I remember, and he said here, I'll be honest with you. Scoring goals is the main thing I love the most. But when I'm dribbling, doing these runs from midfield, I really enjoy that a lot. To give goals to others, I think the fans love that. To see a player who gives everything and enjoys games, I like the take on one against one. And I mean, that's what I want to hear, because as much as I think Jesus can do that and a couple of others, there's not too many men that can do that in the Emirates team. So I'm here for it, man. I hear that, man. And his idol is Cristiano Ronaldo. So we'll have to see, people. But yeah, that was that article. Let's go back to David Ornstein. Arsenal want Wolves' Neto. Negotiations, well, we've already seen that. Talks are said to have taken place. Is there any other details? Conversations so far have involved Mendes liaising with Arsenal and Wolves separately. So again, it's middleman stuff. Has Mendes been instructed by his client to get him a move either to the Emirates or elsewhere? You know, has he been given signals that he feels his client can do more? Does his client want to leave? Is he just seeing the fact that Arsenal want a winger? He's seeing a payday and saying, let me bridge the gap and get my Portuguese client over there to Arsenal, where they've got a growing Portuguese speaking contingent. And at 22 years of age, he fits it. And obviously, he was an Arsenal fan growing up. We wanted him at Lazio and Braga. All the things are making sense. But right now, we're nowhere near a deal unless we go online and see that a deal's been agreed. At some point, Arsenal and Wolves have to cut out the middleman and talk directly, or Mendes has got to apply a bit more pressure. Right now, we're not close to that, are we? But conversations so far have involved Mendes liaising with Arsenal and Wolves separately. Maybe Wolves have said he can go, but this is what we value him at. While the interest from the Emirates Stadium is concrete and unanimous, their counterparts do not plan to sell the 22-year-old this summer. Neto extended his contract in March, committing him to 2027, again strengthening their position and making it ever harder for us to take him from them. So yeah, it's unclear what level of finance it might take for Wolves to contemplate letting one of their key men depart. As we said previously in the window, suitors for Neto were led to believe that he was unavailable or felt the Portuguese international would be too costly. But the arrival of Ronaldo Guedes and Mateus Nunes into Bruno Laga's attack may be interpreted by admirers as creating an opening on Neto. And while we're here, can we bring Ruben Neves to the carpet as well? That would be nice. Flicking over to, Google Chrome, people. Arsenal have already held initial talks over a move for Pedro Neto. Arsenal want to pay around 35 million. Wolves want around 50. There's no official bid yet, but Mikel Arteta is a huge fan of the winger, allegedly, people, says Daniel Cutts of the Scum newspaper, people. So whatever that means. And previously, you saw literally last week, Pedro Neto attracting interest from Premier League clubs this summer. He's attracting interest late in the window after a number of clubs were alerted to his potential availability. So is that Mendes, the middleman, alerting these clubs and seeing that it can be done? We have to see, people. I mean, Wolves have spent over in excess of 100 million allegedly, so maybe they have to sell for financial fair play rules and things like that. This was previous, but 90 Minute has been told that middlemen have been making it known to a number of clubs that Neto could very well be available at the right price, and he's gaining interest. 90 Minute at the time were told that Arsenal, Chelsea, and United had been made aware that Neto could be available, and United are looking at wingers. I don't know if Chelsea are looking at one, having brought in Sterling, maybe more a striker, and I don't know if 90 Minute Football the most creditable news source. So you have to draw your own conclusions in that regard. Off topic, Saka has appeared in each of Arsenal's last 45 Premier League matches since being an unused sub against Newcastle in May 2021. And by all means, I never want to see that stop, but that tells you that the poor lad needs some help in it. We need some other options, really, to avoid burnout. Saliba completed all of his 76 of his pass attempts against Bournemouth, the most passes by an Arsenal defender, with 100% completion rate in a Premier League match. Coupling that, I think him and Gabriel in the second half mopped up well. He scored a fantastic goal, and he dealt with the little that Moore had to offer. Moore tried to compete with him physically. I can only remember one header Saliba missed out on, and by the end of the game, Moore is crossing the ball for people in the box. Anytime you see a striker go out wide to cross the ball and no one's in the box, that's a sign of frustration. He's trying to show the team what he's been missing out on, people. We'll look at that in just a second. Fabrizio Romano said, fair to say Arsenal's strategy has been smart. They wanted Vlahovic in Jan. It collapsed. Had the chance to sign 5 or 6 strikers offered, but Edwin Arteta only wanted Jesus, people. 45 million seems pennies right now. It seems £4.50, really. Such a deal. that we've been given. Obviously, the pay situation is still the same. He's agreed a termination of his deal. He looks like he could be going to Juventus, people. Some Arsenal fans like in here have been saying maybe that's something we could consider, people. Obviously, Casemiro's doing his farewell. Cody Gakpo and Anthony could be going to United. Have to see what happens there. Fabrizio Romano on Tielemans said, I expect Tielemans is one to watch until the end of the market. Leicester know that proposals could come, and Arsenal have been interested since late May. So make of that what you will. Anything else Arsenal related, Fabrizio? What's the date today? The 22nd. I'm going to scroll all the way down until it changes to the 19th, people. Let's see if there's anything Arsenal related here. Come on, Fabrizio. You're normally on job with all of these sort of things there, man. Come on, Fabrizio. I don't care about Casemiro. Welbs has signed a new deal as well. Yeah, man. I mean, that's someone I wouldn't mind looking at. I can't lie. If Leeds get this guy, Bernardo, that's a deal still. I can't even cap, man. I can't even cap. That is a very good deal if they're able to do that. But yeah, Fabrizio Romano letting us down right now at this moment. Once again, Arsenal have made Pedro Neto their top target. Talks are underway. We'll have to see how that one develops specifically. Arsenal have been linked with the Shakhtar ace Mudryk, who's been named the Ukrainian name after Brentford failed in the transfer race. I don't buy it. I think we've obviously looked at him. We've scouted him. Hopefully Zinchenko could give us a positive heads up and let us know if he really is that. From what I can see in the highlights, his playing style looks decent. Plays with his head up. Good ball carrier. Good size on him. You know, very good technically. Wants to shoot. Wants to assist. Could be a development sort of player. At 20 million euros, I'm not against it. But I would say Ruben Neves, Pedro Neto, and Tielemans, get them done. If there's money left over, why not? If we've done our scouting, why not? Arsenal now weighing up the possibility of making an offer for the talented 21-year-old. He could be available for anything from 17 to 20 million quid, people. He's made 26 appearances for Shakhtar, scoring twice, so he's still inexperienced, people. You know, he was keen to join Brentford, but he respected Shakhtar's decision, really, and you could see there they tried to bid for him, people. To end up in the Premier League at 20 years of age is fantastic, but the final decision is down to the club president. This was at the time, people. Had the offer come in a year or 18 months ago, I wouldn't have given it a second thought. I'd have Premier League age 20 is amazing, but since Sana and the Verbi Shakhtar coaches took charge, everything has changed. I have support. I currently have a long contract, and all my thoughts are tied to Shakhtar. And he's contracted until 2027. I'll use all my power to help the side winning all comps that we are taking part in. Diallo's been linked with a move to Nice. Maybe that affects Pepe's loan. Maybe it doesn't. People just bear that in mind. Obviously, this is the same guy we've been linked with, people. He's played in the youth gen. He comes from a good academy. Well, he played for Arsenal, Kiev as well. But yeah, he looks very good, man, from what you can see. Ukrainian Messi, Ukrainian Neymar. These things are not going to help. He is capped 5 times by his country. Bring him, but I'm not expecting fireworks. He's played in the Champions League. I'm sure he's played against Madrid as well. So there is these sort of things. You're going to have to pay top dollar if you want him. Clearly he wants to play Prem. I mean, if Brentford are looking, then there's got to be something there in it, really. So we'll have to see, man. Bring him. If you've done your due diligence, why not? So, yeah, man, all of these things are saying the same sort of things. Apparently, his preferred position is a left winger, which could be decent. Why not, man? Him and Zinchenko could get a partnership going down that side. Left, right, left footer as well. Bring that. Why not? As you already know, Arsenal's Pepe is in talks with Nice as well. Make of that what you will. Arsenal approach United for James Garner as Arsenal plan Yuri Tielemans move. Scrolling purely down to the Tielemans bit. Leicester are bracing themselves for a late move from Arsenal for Tielemans, and Rodgers wants to have targets lined up in case they lose Tielemans, people, which is obviously something to be wary of. Sorry, let me just make sure we stay on task with this. Yeah, we'll get there in a second. I just want to get something else up for you. So we'll have to see, man. The Tielemans thing, I'm getting bored in it. I'm sure Chelsea fans are getting also equally as bored with their pursuit of Fofana. If they sign, they sign. Obviously, Connor Harrison, don't know if he knows what he's talking about or whatever, but you know, he seems to be quite the in the know or gaining quite the following. So just by looking at what he's had to say, still no change for those asking regarding Yuri. Player wants move. Arsenal in no rush. They will 100% move for him this window. They are trying to drive the price down. On the 17th of August, he said, according to the agent of Yuri Tielemans, Arsenal will make a move for the player still this window. Player has told Leicester he will not sign on and he wants to go. Arsenal in no rush, want to pay 20 million. They will go for him this window, as I've said all along. And I think he said something about Pedro Neto as well, people. On the 16th of July, he said Arsenal have inquired with agent George Mendes about the availability of Wolverhampton Wanderers Pedro Neto. Almost a month later, what you seeing? He's also said there's still, I'm reading this, the one above. Arsenal love Pedro Neto. However, it isn't going to be cheap. Player would love the move. Don't expect Arsenal to get him, for anything less than 45 million. Wolves would accept payment instructions. Won't be a fast deal, but everyone is moving in the right direction. I mean, if they're on this, letting us do the Bright House payments, get it on. And I'm so happy because there was a time Arsenal fans wanted to spend 70 million on Isaac. They were trying to rationalize signing Ryan Fraser. Alhamdulillah, man. Thank you very much, Mohammed and Jesus and all these guys that are allowed, doing bits for us at the Emirates. We've come a long way, come a long way, even though we haven't at the same time. But yeah, that's that. If we look at this, what is this thing saying? Balogun is having a great loan spell. He's got 3 and 3, could have had 4 and 3. VAR shagged him. It's all calm. As you know, Arsenal are working to try and tie down Saka and Martinelli to new deals. We did see Saliba as well. Bellerin's been linked with going to Barcelona now. And obviously Pepe's on his way out. Apparently Ainsley is as well. This article is just all West Ham. But if you look at the end of it, people, Arsenal's Ainsley Maitland-Niles has also been discussed as another option for David Moyes and West Ham, who are struggling at this moment in time, people, unfortunately. Second bid coming for Tielemans. Yuri Tielemans stays in Arsenal's transfer list, ready to make a second bid next week for the Leicester midfielder. As announced yesterday, Arteta valued the profile and next week will be decisive. More options for Arsenal board. Sandro Tonali, Moses Caicedo. I mean, them ones there, dream chasing. A move for Caicedo can't be ruled out. Moses Caicedo, I'm all for it. We've got Mohamed, we've got Jesus. Just bring Tammy and all of these things. Just sign a John for the sake of it as well. Why not? Why not? Might as well sign a Matthew and that. Just everyone with a biblical religious sort of name, really. Why not? If they go for it, I still expect a bid for Tielemans to go back in, and on the back of that, if they don't have any success with it, I wouldn't rule him out, Caicedo. So it's not two of the same. Henri's a fan of Pedro Neto. It's not easy to have everything on your shoulders. What I like is he's not scared to beat people on the outside. I like it. He can cross with his right, finish with his left. He's always looking to have a goal and attack defenders, always on the front foot. It's not easy to do this at such a young age. In a team where you're not often in possession and dominating games, he's performing well. We've spoken about the Ukrainian Messi. By now, Pedro Neto is a long-term target. Tielemans, it is what it is. Gakpo seems to be left to United. Nice are in talks with Pepe. Paqueta has turned down Newcastle. Arteta has said we will make new signings if we can. Very diplomatic, but can't disagree with that. United opened the door for Tielemans swoop. That's a factor as well. So, yeah, I think we're scrolling all the way down there. What else is being said where the transfer news, the transfer market's concerned, man? The dream is free. The hustle is sold completely different, as you Arsenal fans know. Hit the like button, people. Don't forget, completely off topic, it's Man United versus Liverpool next as well. So let's see what's being said here. This is just talk, think pieces, innit? Salahudin's moving closer to joining Hull if he hasn't already been confirmed as a Hull player. Wolves will consider selling Neto if they receive a suitable offer. Obviously, you saw Yeremy Pino score against Atletico Madrid. I don't think we'll get Yeremy Pino and Pedro Neto, but he said, Pino and the sort of Arsenal interest is growing. I think that is fair to say. It's definitely one to watch between now and when the window shuts. And for one of the reasons for that is because there's a need at Villarreal's end to sell. Allegedly, now we're in pole position to sign Lucas Paqueta. We know we're fans of him. I don't know about any of that really, but fair enough. If it gets done, it gets done, innit? Odegaard reveals he turns to Xhaka for leadership advice. And I know some Arsenal fans are going to see that and think, well, we have talked a little bit. He's a friend of mine, good friend of mine, and we're quite close. He's someone I talk to a lot and try to learn from. I think he's a great player and also a great leader. Of course, I talk to him and try to get the best out of me and everyone else. I have to try to use being captain in a good way. Of course, obviously, there's a little bit more responsibility being the captain and all that. But I try to do things the same. I try to do the same things. I always try to do the best for the team. I fight for the team. I give 100% always. I have to try to use it in a good way. I think I'm not maybe the loudest guy, but I still think it is very little of last season that you see in the Amazon documentary. I also don't feel any need to talk when the camera is there. Maybe I'm a little bit more shy when the camera is there. So yeah, big him up, man. Big him up. And like he said, we have to stay calm, keep working hard, and look for the next one already and try to win that. I think a lot of things have changed. I think we have improved so much, and it's a little bit strange to think it's only 1 year ago. I feel like it's a long time ago. We've improved so much. We have worked so hard in training to improve the way we play and improve all the basics in our game. And I think you can see that on the pitch now. We understand each other a lot better. I think the system works really well. Everyone understands their job on the pitch. I think that's the main thing, and the system is working really well. And of course, we have signed some good players as well, so that helps people. It's been a good start, I think, especially compared to last season. It looks a bit better this time. We are happy at the moment. 3 wins and 3 good games. We are scoring lots of goals, so of course we're happy. Big him up, people. We just have to keep calm and keep working. Arsenal continue to try work on incoming market, especially to reinforce the attacking department. The Gunners' #1 target is Mudryk. Mudryk. I can't say his name, from Shakhtar Donetsk. The Ukrainian winger in the past was a target for Juventus. So there's got to be something, people. Chelsea are currently exploring a deal for Morata, since the deal for Aubameyang looks hard to complete at this moment in time. Bloody hell, going full circle, are they? Crazy. Absolute crazy. Keep an eye on Yuri Tielemans this week. Too mad. Pepe is in talks with Nice. His agents had it confirmed. Bellerin will have his contract terminated, so the club aren't in a rush. They're waiting to see if they receive an offer. There could be movements around Tielemans, people. It's crazy, man. So we'll have to see how these things there develop. Shout out Sash. According to his information, apparently Arsenal's short list of winger targets is Cody Gakpo, this Mudryk brother, Yeremy Pino. So no talk of Pedro Neto, who is centered around all the talk today. And Yeremy Pino is on the winger short list. The move for a winger will be sudden and quick, as there's a feeling that a deal is already in the works. Wolves are demanding a fee of 50 million. Arsenal hope to sign the winger, who's also been offered to Man United. We've already held initial talks, as we kind of seeing the same things. Crazy. What's this? And obviously, he said his favourite team was Arsenal as well. So not that that means much, but yeah. And he's got 5 years left on his deal, so it's going to take peace. Pedro Neto links to Arsenal make plenty of sense, given his agency represents Fabio Vieira, and he's one of a very few relatively attainable wingers on the market. Can't lie, Gibbs White did go for an English premium, 45 odd million quid. So there is that. And again, we're going to have to be easy. Tossart was previously linked with us, and he's not got long left on his contract. So that could be an angle and an avenue for Arsenal to explore, people. Once again, people are saying expect something around Tielemans, so hopefully we can get things done. Fabrizio Romano said Tielemans is one to watch until the end of the market. Leicester know that offers could come, and Arsenal have interest since May, but have not made an official offer. Situation is open because there are no agreements to extend his contract, and there's talk around Brendan Rodgers departing. Fifana wants to cut. Maddison, if you know what's good for you, don't sign a new deal. It could get long in that regards, really and truly. So we're going to have to see how that one develops, really. So, yeah, man. Obviously, we've seen that. Let's see what Talking Highbury said. Once again, just know that an individual's been offered to us. But the main thing I'd say, Wolves are happy if you pay what they ask, and they structure the payment. So it's not like when we tried to get Zaha over Pepe in the sense of Palace wanted upfront fees. We can maybe do a thing. So it seems like there's a willingness, but we'll just never know until whatever, in it, people. Yuri Tielemans stays in Arsenal's target list, ready to make a second bid next week for the midfielder. We just saw that we haven't made a bid. As announced yesterday, Arteta has valued the profile, and next week will be decisive. So we'll have to see, man. Once again, we saw this yesterday, but Bellerin is moving closer to reaching an agreement with Barcelona, which could do. But, I mean, if he's allowed to terminate his deal, then he gets his move that he always wanted. Allegedly, Lucas Moura invites Edu and Gabriel to Tottenham Stadium for birthday party. I mean, rivalries aside, these men are from Brazil, blood. So, of course, they're going to, man. They're just rivals because they have to be. So, yeah, man. It's a Brazil thing. So, why not? Arsenal fans will be delighted with the team's good start to the season, so are probably unconcerned about the financial implications of their player recruitment, but it is worth maybe looking at whether there will be any issues with FFP. As it stands, Arsenal has spent a hefty 270M gross on transfers in the last 2 seasons, only surpassed by Chelsea, but ahead of Man United, City, Tottenham and Liverpool, which again, money's been spent. Edu and Arteta, as much as I like what you're doing, it's a results-driven business. We need to accomplish some results. 200